And this is so that people who couldn't make it today have a chance to see it in Technicolor online. Uh, Davide Vaghetti is going to be talking to us a little bit about what's happening with Met. For Met has been this wonderful tool, right, that people use all over the world. I know a lot of librarians use it when they're trying to figure out whether a particular service is going to work for them in their federation. And I have had librarians reach out to me when Met doesn't work, going, I don't even know what to do when this isn't available. But it was never meant to be an operationally critical tool. And as REFEDS has had to start paying VAT for various and sundry reasons, we don't always have the money to actually support it in the manner to which we would all like it to be accustomed. But that's okay, because Davide and Edugain have stepped in to try and help us out. And so I wanted to make sure that we all had a chance to hear about that, to talk about any changes we would like to see in Met in the future. And with that, Davide, would you like to talk to us about it?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Heather. So, as Heather was saying, the development effort gone into Met has been quite discontinuous, at least. So lately, there has been quite some efforts to try to maintain Met through internal people inside Triant or through external contracts, development contracts. But I mean, all the time this somehow ended badly, meaning that basically the one of the issues that we are having right now with Met is that the code base is quite old, and it needs to be renewed and probably also profoundly changed, because basically all of the tools on which Met was based changed in these few years since the beginning of Met, which dates back to something like 10 years ago. Before I joined this community, actually. So I joined this community in late 2016, started to work with the identity federation space, at least at this level. And Matt was already there for a few years. But then, unfortunately, the development of Matt was abandoned, so without any update, now the code base is quite difficult to maintain alive and difficult to change. So, I mean, new features are very difficult to implement. For example, the authentication. There has been this effort to implement the authentication and to change the discovery service on which Met is based to start using seamless access. And this ended up in basically breaking the federation access to Met. So currently, federation access is broken. We don't have any stable maintainers. What else? And as said, the code base is to be completely renewed. So these are all the bad stuff. On the bright side, as Heather has said, a few months ago, Met was down in this state, no maintainers, code base, whatever. As Edugain service, we've been asked if we could help. So we stepped in. And first of all, I personally tried to put some life into this old server. So I just, took care of bring up the service and monitor it. So now at least Met is available. It is consuming metadata, but still the thank you, Julie. But still the access, the federated access, is broken. But unfortunately, this requires a bit more effort than just server maintenance or application maintenance. So inside the Ergen service team, we started to ask team members if they would like to participate to this new activity of basically develop MET 2.0, because it is impossible to out of basically try to maintain in life MET as it is right now. It is impossible to improve on the current code base. So we need to not really to start from scratch, but at least to port all the application functionalities to a new environment. And so far, one of the person that answered the call to create this team has been Guillaume Roos from Renator, that is participating to the call. Thank you, Guillaume. And me, myself, of course. But I think it would be great if we could try, the Ergen service team members are paid through the Jean project. So they can devote at least, of course, you need to love this job and be passionate and dedicate and whatever, but some of your time is already assigned to the Jean project. So we can decide how to spend at least a part of it. And in this case, we want to spend on MET. But this does not prevent anyone to join this effort. And of course, the Jean project can't, at least in this phase, fund additional participation unless this is somehow agreed with your organization or at a bigger level. So, but I think to start quickly, the best thing would be for the Ergen service team to create this small sub team, which for now is composed just by me and Guillaume on MET. And of course, we welcome anyone outside the Ergen service team to join this effort. So we'll keep the development in the public, of course, and this is it basically. So we didn't start yet. Because I think it is good that first of all we present this project to the community and we hear from the community what there are the expectations from this effort. So this is it on my side. I don't know if Guillaume would like to say anything. Welcome to.
I don't have anything specific yet.
Okay, well, I have a question, and it may be a very ignorant question. Edugain also had some kind of metadata tool for Edugain members, didn't it? How does that compare with MET?
Yeah, you mean probably you're referring to the Ergen database, which is accessible through the technical site, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So basically, that is the Edugain view of the entities that are, of course, in Edugain. So it's basically a view on the Edugain database and how Edugain actually again look at the federations and entities. So from what I think is very valuable of MET is the fact that you can have a picture of
how the entities are represented in different federations. While on the technical side, what you get access to is just the edugain view. So basically the edugain database. While in MET, you can compare, for example, how InCommon or any other federation is publishing metadata about an entity and how this entity is represented in other federations, if present, or edugain itself. So this is the...
Okay, that makes sense to me.
I felt confused because actually I thought that the entity database explorer was MET.
So, sorry, the entity database is?
What is available on technicaledugain.org? I thought it was MET. I just understood that it's two different tools.
Yes, they
Okay,
are.
so I have no clue what is MET then.
Okay, so let me just share my screen. But I'm quite sure you have had access to MET in the past, at least once.
Oh.
Probably, not really. So this is MET.
Okay.
Which, of course, is also composed by identity federations that, or may be composed by identity federations that are not even in edugain. And of course, entities that are not in edugain, because you have feeds of federations that are not. You have in the feeds provided by the federations, there might be, and usually there are, entities that are not exported to edugain for any reason. So Guillaume, is this changing your
No.
feeling left to help? Oh, good.
Yes, I'm still volunteer. But indeed, before re-implementing MET, I would first examine it if really needed to have two different ways to access this information.
Yeah, I think they are, again, they are not exactly the same information. And I think in this very first page of MET, the entity summary, it is shown in a very effective way, right? So in edugain, you have these 9,300 something entities, while MET has knowledge of more than 20,000 entities. So this is the thing.
May I clarify something? Hello, Thomas Lenkenhager
Hi,
from
Thomas.
Switch. For some federations like UK or InCommon Federation, they publish quite a lot of their own federation in edugain, and they import the whole edugain into the own federation. And for some other federations like ours in Switzerland, for example, we only publish a few of the SPs to edugain, and we do not import the edugain entities into our federation, but we provide our SPs or IDPs a separate feed that is tailored and contains difference. So everything that is in Switch AI is excluded from the edugain import. And so for us, MET is pretty valuable to mainly find out also in which federations is an entity registered, and possibly not even exported to edugain. So you will never find these services on edugain unless somebody exports it to edugain.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot, Thomas. Just to make an example, maybe which is might put some more clarity. For example, everyone probably knows about the, or many of you at least, about the Giant Service Provider Proxy. So if I search the Service Provider Proxy, I can see it is registered in 12 federations. Terena.org.sp is registered in the Australian Access Federation, CARSI, EduGain itself, EDEM, InCommon, SURF, SWAMIT, Twakiri, UKF, and FEDRUS. And the great thing about MET is that I can see exactly how this entity, the Giant Service Provider Proxy, is represented in each federation, because they might have different, different metadata. And I can even run a comparison currently between, say, the way, okay, yeah, it's not working currently, but the way at least this entity is registered, say, in EDEM again. This is not working. It should. So let me check. In common, at least. No. Yes. So the way this is registered in common and the way it is registered in EduGain. If there is any difference, like here, we can see there are differences. And in this case, the difference is just about how the key is wrapped, but apparently it is the same key, just wrapped in a different way. It's just the format, but it is really great because, for example, sometimes you can have different, say, requested attributes, for example, for an entity registered in a federation and the same entity exported to EduGain. So it's a great debug tool, definitely. Helps quite a lot with this.
Davide, Alex has a question in the chat. Do you happen to know if that comparison tool is text-based or XML specific?
I think it is, unfortunately, text-based. I think it use actually so first of all, MET is Python-based. It's a Django application, although a bit old. And I think it uses at least if I remember well, the ET Python module, XML Python module. But then the comparison, I mean, the tool is used to extract the XML attributes and values, but then the comparison itself is done as a text fields basically. But Alex, you are more than welcome to participate.
Yeah. Hello, Davide.
Hello, Alex.
Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. Sorry again. Well, yeah, I would love to if we find a way to make it happen. That would be lovely. My question about the differences is because, as you know, at the moment you change the spacing in the XML, that will trigger a change in div. And I know it's difficult. There are some XML div libraries around, but I've tried to use them once and they were quite difficult to really pass. So just suggesting that could be a good enhancement if you are planning to just already recording some issues for your new project. It would be lovely if you could use something that was more XML specific and knew about the XML, format and schema. So if you reorder things that are not meant to be ordered, it doesn't trigger that as a difference. But that's, yeah, for the future.
No, it makes a lot of sense, I think. But probably would be helpful to have some tests, for example, with the, comparison tests with the expected results.
So a couple years ago, we did have a company, I want to say that it was called Z, that did some updates on the tool. Do you happen to know where they put the code? Is it in GitHub?
It is in GitHub. There are more than one repositories for this application.
Can we make it just one repository? That would be awfully nice.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, these are all a lot of house cleaning activities that we have to do. So we need to provide a development page, and have just one repository, and start this at least in a clean way. As for there is another interesting question, but before that, Pete Birkinshaw, yes, of course. I mean, if would love to see your code, or maybe if you would like to join this activity, you're welcome, of course.
Oh, thank you. I'll try and get something. I've got nothing I can show now, but I'll try and put something together.
Great, thank you. And Johan, well, Python and Django. Well, for me, myself, that would be great. But not because I'm a lover, just I'm quite comfortable with both. But and the code base, of course, is even though we need to work on that, but is Python and Django based. So would make sense to keep this at least to some extent. But I don't see any specific reason if we find that the majority of people working on this are more comfortable with another framework, another language. Laravel 5 and PHP it doesn't really matter, to be honest.
I think we all start twitching as soon as you say PHP.
Yeah,
not PHP, anything but that.
I'm over that phase. I know, for example, some people here are working with Perl. So why not?
Thanks for the links, Pete.
Yeah.
Well, do we have other questions, comments, either in the chat, or feel free to raise your hand and come off mute?
Is there any kind of schedule when this is planning to be completed, or at least to have something that is like a minimum viable product or something? Is it a year, 2 years? Or depending on availability?
Yeah, so no, currently we don't, but this is exactly how we will start this, basically. So defining what is the minimum viable product that we would like to reach, and also a roadmap, but to understand exactly how to proceed, we would like to hear a bit from the community before that.
Of course, yeah.
So the idea is that we draft a path and a description of the initial MVP, but something that will not be written in stone. And then we basically send out a call for collaboration. Because again, I think that, I mean, if there is a reason why MET is in this state right now, it is because it has not been developed as a community tool from the beginning. Which is not, of course, I'm not putting any blame on that, because if it wouldn't have done that way, Matt would not be here right now. So, but I think probably now we want to change the way it has been created initially, and so with a bit more help from the community, this probably could be better maintained for the future.
Agreed. All right. Any other questions or ideas? Davide, when you actually start organizing the group to work on this, where are you going to publish about that?
Yes. So I think the House of Met has always been REFEDS, and I don't see why this should change. I mean, Edugain is helping, hopefully, to Edugain service, not Edugain itself. I mean, but the Edugain service team is helping to put Met back on track. But again, I would like to use the REFEDS wiki, and so as the house of where to put the information about this development activity. And so we need to do some organizational stuff internally for before starting with something official. So take initial September as a starting date. And this is and also we need to do some, again, house cleaning and having a clear repository for the code. But once this is done, we will just announce it. I think REFEDS mailing list is the best place again, and of course with your help, Heather, and we'll send out this call for collaboration.
Absolutely. I wonder if we already have a list about Met. I'm checking right now.
Yeah, a list would help.
Doesn't look like there's a Met mailing list, but I can get one created. And then people who are interested in participating in helping develop the code can join that, and we can start there, no problem. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, then Davide, thank you for coming in and chatting about this. This was very helpful. I think many people are interested in the fate of Met and want it to grow up and be a real tool. That will be helpful. And with that, I'll go ahead and stop recording. Stop.